Donnie and house, it's going down. Bringing all the pet keepers straight out of town. Reptile lovers, cats and all, watchers too. Tune in, y'all, we got the groove for you. Everyday keepers, that's how we roll. Sharing love and knowledge, soul to soul. Grab your leash or tank, let's take control. Everyday keepers, yeah, we break the mold.
Hey, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through, I believe this is episode 16 or 17 of Everyday Keepers. I should have counted before we started, but you already know. This is Don D with Uptown Exotics, and thank you for joining us today on Everyday Keepers, where we talk to everyday animal keepers and see what they do with their animals, because no two keeper is exactly alike. So I am happy that you're joining us today. I do want to remind you that we are airing on both channels, on Keys Constrictors channel, as well as my channel. So if you are watching from Keys 17, thank you, Keys. Thank you. So episode 17. If you are watching from T Keys' channel, please make sure to hit the like button and then scoot on over to my channel. I did put the link to my channel in the comments. I'm not going to be able to hit the link, put the link in every time, since I got to interview the guest today, right? But there it is. T Keys got it. There it is. So head on over to my channel and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit that like button. If you're not already blue, please please leave a comment so I can make you blue. I'll try to keep an eye on my phone and make you blue. I'll leave it up even after the show if I miss anybody, so I can make you blue after the show. But yeah, go over there, like button, subscribe, leave a comment so I can make you blue. And if you're not watching us live, whether it's on my channel or T Keys' channel, Keys Constrictors, and you're watching the replay, you know the rules. Hit that like button, type in hashtag replay gang, throw up some whiskey bombs. You know, we love the whiskey bombs. So throw up some whiskey bombs and leave a comment of hashtag replay gang. And we love that. We love that. T Keys loves that. YouTube loves that. We all love that. We all about love around here. So speaking of love, I need to give some love to some people that are tuning in today. So let's see who's in the chat. That would be Nikki. What's up, Nikki? Thank you for being here. Happy Sunday to you too as well. Appreciate you. Will, Amish Will. What's up, Will? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Robinson, what is up, Robinson? Thank you for being here. And you see what Robinson said. Smash that like button, turn on notifications, then head on over to my channel and do the same over there. James B. Easy, I see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Mitzi Ann, hi Mitzi. Good morning or good afternoon. It's afternoon here, so good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Bosa, what's up, Bosa? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I think you're watching from my channel. Love that. Lady Tiz, I think this is the first time you're joining us, Nicole. Thank you for joining us today, Nicole. Appreciate you. Now go over to my channel and watch from there. You too, Ash. Go over to my channel. Watch from there. Thank you for being here, though. Appreciate you. Hit the like button here first, though. Then head on over to my channel. Appreciate you for being here. What's up, Santos? How are you this afternoon? Thank you for being. We all about love. That is right. We're all about love. Thank you for being here, Santos. Appreciate you. And I think we got it. Oh, you were on. You didn't say hi. Did you say hi? I don't remember you. You know what? No, I do remember you being there. I do remember you being there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I do remember you being there. But thank you for being there then and here now. That's how we do this. And how else we do this? So we got a whole lot of people that help take care of things behind the scenes, whether it's behind the scenes running thing like Keisha and T Keys and Wiz behind the scenes, or way behind the scenes and helping to pay the bills. So we're going to give a shout out to everybody that's helping pay those bills and roll that sponsor video.
Banana Bread Royals demonstrates that taking risks leads to incredible rewards. Their work with Hypo is outstanding, and the way they combine it with their Wookiee line is truly unparalleled. The interaction with other genes like Blackhead and Stranger produces breathtaking, one-of-a-kind animals. Be sure to follow them on Morph Market and Instagram. Static Morphs, an up-and-coming breeder, has been working quietly under the radar and producing some heat, most notably working Stranger and Chocolate into DG, Clown, and Pied combos. Go on their Morph Market today and see what they have available. Balls of Paradise is an up-and-coming breeder who is focusing on higher-end morphs such as Monsoon and Sunset, striving to unlock their possibilities. They also breed rodents for the southern Florida area. Please follow them on Instagram and Morph Market. Lindworm Exotics specializes in a multitude of reptiles such as ball pythons, dumoral boas, coastal rosy boas, and false water cobras, to name a few. They are dedicated to providing the public with well-adjusted animals with superior quality. Follow them on Instagram and Morph Market. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. At Mantooth Captive Bred Reptiles, our motto is simple: live your dream. Black Box Reptile Cages should be your go-to for high-quality reptile enclosures and rack systems. They offer versatile hatchling and adult racks that work with both Vision and Freedom Breeder tubs, as well as a wide range of terrestrial, arboreal, and bioactive cages. Located in Beaufort, Georgia, Black Box Reptile Cages offers local pickup as well as ship and freight. Check them out at blackboxcages.com and use code WhiskeyBomb25 for 5% off. Attention reptile lovers.
Thank you again to all of the sponsors. And Keisha, I need to tell you, look into doing like books, reading books, because they have like audio books. You could do that. See, I see you. You could do that. You could read, because a friend of mine had a book out, and I don't read, but I have no problem listening to. So I listened to the book, and the lady that was reading it, she was really great and everything. You could do that, girl. You could do that, girl. Who snuck in here? A Sunday Fun Day. May the 4th be with you. Yes, may the 4th be with you. I am not Star Wars anything, so for all of y'all Star Wars folks, that's on y'all. That's on y'all, but I hold nothing against you. But may the 4th be with you. And Sammy, I see you. Thank you for being here. Who was before Sammy? Was that LKM? Is that what that was? LKB, sorry. What's up, LKB? Thank you for being here. I see Brian. Brian, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Your Glizzy Squad, represent. What's up, Elias? And make sure you tune into Elias next week. He's going to be graduating, getting his master's. Shout out, Elias, for getting that master's, putting in that work. You do the thing. You do the thing. Weekend Warriors Part 2. That is right. Well, enough about me. I've been rambling for almost 10 minutes. And also with you. You're funny. We're going to bring out today's guest. Today's guest is another guest that I found on TikTok originally. And if you need new content to watch on TikTok, you need to go over to their channel, because they got so much going on that channel. A lot of great detail that hopefully we can touch on today a little bit. The detail with their enclosures and their animals and everything that they have going on at their house. but without further ado, I was waiting. Shauna Khan, I see you snuck in. Hi, Shauna, what's up? Without further ado, let's bring out Winter started this. So we got to ask about that too. Winter started this. What's up, Dan? How are you?
Hey,
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your wife's name.
Ashlyn.
Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn. Don't want to leave you
Hi.
out. How are you?
Good.
Good. So thank you both for being here today. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to be with us this afternoon. For those of us that don't know who you are, and I'm sure a lot in the chat are unfamiliar with you, just give a brief introduction as to who you are, where you can be found, and all that good stuff.
Winter started this on TikTok. We actually started that account kind of just as a side thing. We have other accounts that are more successful than the reptile account, sadly. And the reptile account was just kind of a side thing that we started doing, and it kind of took off a little bit.
Nice.
The whole point of it for us was getting into reptiles. There was just so much information out there, good and bad,
Mhm.
and a lot of negativity as well as positivity. And I just wanted to be one of those voices that gave a lot of good information in a positive way. And
Nice.
so that's solely what our focus is with that account.
And that's a great focus, and it's definitely something that's needed. So thank you for doing that. That is awesome. So Winter started this. What is a winter, and how did Winter start it?
So Winter is our Florida king snake,
Okay.
and that was the first snake that we had on the account, and so that's where Winter started this. He was the first snake, not my first snake, but just the first snake that we kind of had when we were starting
in our
it.
house,
Yeah.
like
And
as a family.
and from him, we snowballed very quickly into, just because I've kept reptiles my whole life, but it's always been one at a time.
Okay.
Keep one reptile. When that one's had its life, move on to the next one. But it was Winter that started the snowball of, let's start going to expos, let's start getting animals, and now we're up into the 30s at this point. So
Nice. Well, good job, Winter.
That's where it came from.
Good job, Winter. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. And I saw Rudy sneak in here. Hey, Rudy, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you. And so who do you have in your hands now?
This is our blue tongue skink, Rolly. He is a northern blue tongue skink, Australian.
Mhm.
And she has one too.
This is our hognose snake, Diglett. Our first hognose snake. We actually have 4, but he's the first one that we got.
His name is Piglet.
Diglett, yep.
That is so perfect.
He was a rescue, so that's how we got our first hognose snake, and now we got 4 of them.
Nice. And so you said that your blue tongue is a northern. What's the difference in blue tongue skinks?
There are Easterns, there's also Indonesians, and then a few other varieties. The big difference between Northerns is that they, coming from Australia, don't need high humidity, whereas the other most common that you're going to find in the pet trade are Indonesians. They require like 80% humidity and warm temps, so they're a little bit harder to keep than Northerns are.
But they're more popular.
They're more available. I don't know that they're it's one of those things where a lot of people will just sell them as blue tongue skinks to people and not say what kind they are or what their requirements are, and try to pass them off as Northerns. So
That's a problem.
yeah.
That's a problem. Well, that's cool. That now I want a northern. I I have enough that needs high humidity. It'd be nice to have something that's
Yeah. This guy's
still.
like super easy because he doesn't need that high humidity. It's like I said, he's a garbage disposal tool. He eats all sorts of stuff. Then I don't need to feed him anything that's alive. So I mean, he gets his vegetables, but doesn't need live feeders or anything like that. So it makes it easy to take care of him.
I will be looking into a northern blue tongue snake for my future. That's awesome. And the hognose, I don't know a lot about hognose. I know they have that rear fang venom, but they're just cool little creatures.
Yeah, they're super fun. They're native to Minnesota here where we are, so our climate's
Are they?
perfect for them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, just regular home humidity, nothing special there. They actually like it fairly dry in their cage, so they like to dig, which he's trying to do right now. So give them a lot of substrate and UVB and a basking bulb, and you should be golden with them. They're very simple too, and they stay small, so they don't need big cages.
Right.
Yeah, the
Right.
males are smaller than the females. He's pretty much fully grown.
Okay. Yeah, I do know that the females can get pretty much bigger than the males, but they're still relatively small. I have ball pythons and boas, rainbow boa and Dumeral's boa, so they're not as big as those guys at all. And a dwarf retic, so it's definitely not that big.
Yeah, we have a super dwarf retic.
Yes, I saw that. It's a very beautiful super dwarf as well. And how long have you had the super dwarf?
October.
Yeah, we got him at Tinley in October.
Okay.
So we haven't had him very long, but that was one of the things that actually helped our channel take off. Was we built this jungle gym that's hanging up over here
Oh, wow.
for the retic, and that video really exploded on us and drew in a lot of attention. So
I'm going to have to go back and find that video. Give me some ideas.
yeah, we like to give him a lot to do because he comes out every single day. He's very, very active and adventurous. So
Yeah.
we like to give him things to do while he's out, where we don't necessarily have to be watching him 100% of the time, because once we put him on that, he can't get off of it, but he has a great time just going in circles on it.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I need to find something for my girl to do. She's a busybody. She's a very busybody, and she does like to come out. I've been letting her come out on her own rather than me go in and take her out, and that's been
The one nice thing about retics, at least from my observation, is they don't go find a place to hide like most snakes do. So you don't really have this worry that you're going to lose them, because they just stay out in the open and explore.
Well, mine must be she's an exception to the rule, because if I have her on my bed, she's going under the pillows.
Well,
or
she'll
trying
go
to-
under it, but then, mine will like go under it, but then he'll pop right out the other side, and then he's climbing up the curtain rod and heading for the ceiling, and yeah. They just don't really stop moving. Like they're not going to just at least he doesn't hunker down and try to find a spot to hide. Like he just keeps moving. Yeah, he gets into things, but he pops right back out of it and it's going the other direction next thing you know.
That's awesome. So I see that. Well, actually, one of the things that drew me to you was it was a video. I don't even remember whose enclosure it was, but there was a lot going on in the enclosure. And just looking at what I can see behind you, you have a lot of detail you put a lot of detail into your enclosures. I don't have that mind. I wish I did, because it's awesome. But can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So like my approach to enclosure building is I come from a background of art and graphic design. So that's what I went to school for. We
Okay.
also do. I do a lot of fabrication of like Halloween decorations and stuff. Like we do it up big for holidays and stuff. So I'm really handy when it comes to like fabricating. So when it came to building out enclosures and that, I just apply those skills that I have, and we have some enclosures that are themed and have really elaborate themes going on in them. Other ones are just naturalistic, but I do my best to make them really, really appealing to look at.
Enrichment.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
it's
snake.
it's also about enrichment, which I can actually like go around to a couple of these ones, and we're going to be doing a lot more. Like these have a lot going on in them, but I haven't done custom backgrounds in all of them, and that's my goal, is to do it. But there's, being in Minnesota, there's only a certain time of year where I can really get outside and do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's starting now, and I've only got a couple of months to do it. So we got some work ahead of us, but
Usually I'll pick out like one piece of decor and I'll be like for Cupcake, it was like her heart box. We bought that, thrifted it, and we built everything else based on that box. Like everything
Okay.
else was what's going to match that box.
yeah. So people often ask me, like, how do we come up with ideas? And realistically, we find something that looks cool, and then we build from that out and theme the entire enclosure off of that one item,
Yeah.
is usually how it goes.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool idea. I like that. So yeah, if you can show off some enclosure, that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
And that's another thing that is like very prevalent on our channel, which is, it's hard with TikTok to go back and watch because it doesn't do a very good job of like cataloging videos, but showing people how to do the things that I do is also
Mhm.
something that I, try to do with everything, and show that it's really not that hard to do a lot of this stuff. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it.
Right. And having that mind, which I don't have. That is an awesome room.
All right, so this is our corn snake crew, which is one of the foam backgrounds that I made.
Oh wow, you made that?
Yeah. So to be functional, I mean, it obviously looks appealing just because it's very naturalistic, looks like slate rock. But to be functional for a snake, I've got a lot of these cracks and crevices that he can kind of press himself into, because snakes like to feel squished in between things.
Right.
And so that was like a big focus with this one, was giving him those opportunities to,
You're too sane.
and giving him more than one, lots of opportunities in that one. And then another one of my favorite builds is going to be our bearded dragon. And then I will show you our Halloween themed build in the basement too. So our bearded dragon is currently brummating right now, so you'll see him sleeping down in the corner, but this kind of had a lot of the same feel to it,
That
with
is
the cracks and crevices and platforms and different hiding areas. So he's down there in his cave, giving me a grumpy look.
He sure is. He's very grumpy. That is fantastic. Now, has anybody ever approached you to do build an enclosure for them? Like do a
I have had people like comment like, "Oh, I would buy that," but I've not actually had anybody approach me to do any kind of enclosure builds for them. All right, yeah. Here's Peanut. Here's Winter, and he has a mountain. And this one we were kind of going for a Game of Thrones type of vibe with a mountain and a castle. And there was actually a dragon in here, but he was causing a problem, so I took him out for now. But
Those pesky dragons.
yeah. So, but yeah, I have not had anybody actually approach me, but I have had people say that they would be willing to pay for that kind of stuff. It's something that I'm toying with, is actually trying to turn it into a business, but the logistics of building out enclosures for like and trying to ship and stuff like that is kind of hard. So it would have to be kind of a local thing, I feel like,
Right.
at least to start out with.
Yeah, definitely. Or if somebody's willing to come and pick it up,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're definitely unique. It's not something that you see every day.
Yeah.
Something else that I saw that you do that I wish I could do, but having heavy-bodied snakes isn't really ideal, is using putting live plants.
Yeah, and so this enclosure that I'm going to show next actually is very heavily planted with live plants.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my world before getting into reptiles was plants. I had plants in every room of my house, had over 300 plants, and traded that in for reptiles.
Yeah. So this one, we've got the prayer plants right up there. Those are real. And then Tradescantia. And then there's snake plants further back. And then this one's live too. So this one's very heavily planted.
What's up, Sammy?
And this is a ball python enclosure.
Okay.
She is a younger ball python, so she has not so far been super destructive, but there she is.
Oh, very nice. A pretty little pied girl.
Yeah, so that is something that we heavily incorporate into almost all of our builds, is live plants to some degree. So depending on the animal, there may be a lot or there may be very little, and how we incorporate the plants will also depend on how likely they are to tear them up or destroy them. So it is something that you have to do your research into, and then there is a lot of trial and error. So just accept the fact that some of your plants are going to get destroyed or crushed, uprooted, and you're just going to have to work around that.
That's why I put fake plants in. We'll just stick with fake plants.
Yeah, I mean, we use a combination. Like all of our enclosures that have live plants also have fake plants, because there are areas where we just need something that's sturdy, that they're not going to destroy, that's going to stay there and be functional. And knowing that they might destroy a live plant, we can't, have that in there. So we do incorporate both live and fake plants, but all of our enclosures are bioactive. So that's the biggest reason why I try to keep live plants in there, is just because the plants do have a function in a bioactive setup, and an important function. So
What's up, Kent? I see you. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. I noticed that you had a couple of bioactive bioactive enclosures. So all of your enclosures are bioactive?
the majority of them are, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I have one bioactive enclosure for my tree frogs. I think if I get more frogs, I'll stay bioactive.
Yeah. So with bioactive, we have been successful in not using a drainage layer for everything. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up, is, oh, it's so much work, we need to put the drainage layer in and all this. Like this one that I just showed you, there is no drainage layer in this enclosure. And that makes it very easy to maintain. The problem is that you can't obviously overwater it then. You need to be a little bit more diligent in how you're putting water into it, but that is one place that we've found success, because adding a drainage layer does introduce complexity.
It does.
This is Gacy. He is a rescued panther chameleon that we have.
Oh, he is cool. I'd love a chameleon. Now, are they difficult to keep?
If you get them into a nice bioactive setup and have an auto watering system, they're not too bad. But if you have to do all that work manually, if you're having to miss them multiple times a day and make sure you're staying on their feeding schedule and providing the correct temps and humidity and all that stuff, it can be a chore for sure.
Yeah.
We have everything automated in that PVC enclosure over there
Okay.
for him, and so our work is pretty minimal. I just have to make sure that his water's full and
Nice.
that we're monitoring his humidity and then feeding him, obviously.
You're giving me ideas. You're giving me ideas. Too many ideas. The problem with doing this show.
Yeah.
Talk to people with too many animals that I don't have, and animals that I would love to have. But that's awesome. So you mentioned that he's a rescue, and you rescue often.
Yeah, so we work with the Minnesota Herpetological Society,
Oh, nice.
which is the state's herp society here, as fosters, and so we will take in animals. I also have had people reach out to us directly and say, "Hey, I have this. Can you help me out with it?" And so some animals we end up rescuing ourselves and just keeping them, and other ones we will just foster until we can find a home for them. So we do
Okay.
both, a little bit of rescuing as in we take them and they become ours, as well as fostering until they can find a new forever home.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, definitely found the right home. Well, that's not a reptile.
No, we have some things that aren't reptiles as well. That is one of our 3 dachshunds.
You have 3 Dachshunds. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I have the other end of the the spectrum. I have Mastiff and a Cane Corso. So
She wants a Dane someday.
Danes are fun. Danes are fun. Dane puppies are a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, any puppies are a lot of work, but a big
True.
dog puppy's got to be way more than a small dog puppy. Because I know the small dog puppies even drive me to my wits' end sometimes.
Yeah, my Cane Corso, she's going to be 4 this year, and she's my last puppy. I said I wasn't going to get any more puppies, and then I couldn't pass her up, but she's definitely my last puppy. If I get any more dogs, it'll be an older dog. I'll adopt an older dog, but no more puppies.
Yeah.
That was going to work.
You think puppy's a good idea until you have one, and then you're like, I forget every time how much work this is.
That part, because it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years. So yeah, I had forgotten, but no more. No more puppies.
Okay, so I can show off the retic enclosure up here too. So with Godric, our retic, this enclosure is bioactive and has live plants in there. But with this one, just because he is such an active and inquisitive snake, and I really focused more on the enrichment and
Mhm.
functional aspect of everything in here. So it's not really as naturalistic, even though it is bioactive and has live plants, but there's just a lot more for him to do in here because he needs that.
Yes.
So he actually has a full swimming pool down here. It has a little fountain. There's stuff for him to climb on. There's branches. That little box back there in the corner is something that he likes to sleep in. He has a sky hide. So this one is not as clean looking as far as a naturalistic setup, but it's more functional for the type of snake that he is. So
If functionality is important, and that is awesome. I do like that. Yeah, I need to look into doing a sky hide for my girl. I know she would love it.
oh yeah, he's always in the sky hide to start out the day, and then he eventually comes down and starts hanging out underneath the basking area, and then retreats back to the sky hide. So it's definitely one of his favorite places in there.
That's fantastic. And you said that's bioactive also?
Yeah, his is bioactive as well. So I have just a tray in here that I made out of corrugated plastic,
Okay.
and then that's filled with dirt, and then I put wood chips on top of the dirt, and then that's got isopods, springtails, and live plants in it as well.
Very nice. Yeah, I might have to hit you up and we can talk about what to do. 'Cause I guess you can't come here to Philadelphia, but yeah, you can definitely help me build a big enclosure.
I'm always happy to help. I always tell people just reach out. That's why I made the account is to help people out, because I've figured out a lot of this stuff, and if I can help somebody else figure it out without having to go through everything I went through to figure it out, I'm happy to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I saw that you recently volunteered for Earth Day in your local area.
Yes. So with the Minnesota Herpetological Society, we do a lot of volunteer events. We like the Earth Day event, just a lot of educational programs where we bring our animals out to public settings and introduce people to animals that they're maybe not familiar with for the first time. We do it at our state fair as well. And then, our Minnesota Renaissance Festival, we're out there almost every weekend doing that as well.
That would be an awesome place. That's real cool.
Yeah, it is really fun. Our society owns a cabin out there, so we can go out there and we have everything we need, can spend the weekend out there with animals and just let people meet animals for the first time. Very fun.
That is very fun. All right, I might have to come out to Minnesota. Only during the warm months, though. I can't do.
The warm months are definitely where it's at.
Make sure you come during the state fair.
Noted.
The best food.
Yeah, state fair food.
That's awesome. Yeah. When I was out there last, I guess it was around September, October, so it was starting to get relatively cold.
Yeah.
And I appreciated the skywalks between the buildings.
Yeah, it definitely gets cold here. We don't have very many months where it's super warm, but during the warm months, it is very Florida-like. Actually, it gets very, very humid. It gets very, very hot. Our days are like 80 to 100 degrees, and the humidity is like 80, 90 plus. So it's very Florida-like for those few months where it is hot. But
it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
It doesn't last long, though.
The humidity I can deal with. I'm here in Pennsylvania, so I'm used to the humidity. That doesn't bother me. It's the cold.
Yeah, our humidity fluctuates so much. It's really hard to manage all these reptiles here just because during the summer, we're like 80 plus humidity, and during the winter, we're at like 10. Yeah. And so we have like a huge range that we have to deal with.
Mastiff streaming. Yeah, that is a wide range. Hey, Chris, what's up? Thank you for tuning in. And anybody that has not already, make sure you hit the like button here and then head over to my channel. The show is streaming on my channel as well, Uptown_Exotics. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe over there. Leave a comment so I can make you blue, and then hit that like button over there. There is the link to my channel. So please head over there and watch from there. We certainly appreciate you.
Oh, I should actually show this since it's Star Wars Day.
Yes. Oh. See, where's Wiz? Wiz is missing this. Wiz going to have to catch the replay.
Yeah.
Look at all that.
Wow. Big time Star Wars fan here, so.
I will give credit to the Star Wars people. You have cool collections.
Well, they produce just about 500 million
Oh,
pieces
that's
of
you. I'm
collectible
sorry.
stuff. So
I thought it was Wiz, not you. Okay, well you're seeing it then. Keys is the Star Wars fan. Alan, what's up? I see you. Dachshunds are fun little dogs.
yeah, that's the new puppy. We got him in December.
Very nice.
Days before Christmas.
Buying a puppy in Minnesota winter is not the best of choices.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine. So I see you have a lot of colubrids. That's something that I haven't gotten into yet. I say yet because Mexican black king snake is on my list.
Yeah, it's one that's on a lot of people's lists. We do have a Mexican black. He actually just woke up. He's been down since October, I think.
Oh wow!
And he just came up from brumation last week and took his first meal, and then he ate yesterday as well. So he's back onto eating. But yeah, they do brumate, which a lot of people don't realize. So he just straight up went to ground and never came up all winter long.
See, that would scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, I think it depends on your climate. If you live in a place where it doesn't get too cold, they'll skip the brumation. But here in Minnesota, and him being down in our lower level where it doesn't stay quite as warm as the upper levels, he went into brumation. But brumation is also something that I'm just very familiar with. We brumate our tortoises
Okay.
in our refrigerator through the winter, and so our bearded dragon also brumates. The skink will kind of go through a brumation period. So it's just something we're familiar with being in the climate that we're in. A lot of our animals tend to do it if they're a species that can.
Right. Okay. Well, that's definitely
It is unnerving. It's really tough, especially for new people, to be like, yeah, you're not going to see your snake for the next 3 months, 4 months. And that's okay. Getting that through your head that's okay is tough. But
now, do they start brumation at a certain age, or is that like from baby on up?
Yeah, it's baby on up, and there's no guarantee that it's going to happen either with any species. It's just one of those things where, like, if they do it, you kind of have to accept it, and if they don't, then you get to, like, none of our corn snakes do brumate.
Okay.
They're capable of it, but they don't. Yeah, to say
I know many people whose hog noses do brumate, and ours just none of them do.
Yeah, so our male hognose goes off feed. He won't eat for several months throughout the winter, but he doesn't really brumate. He's still active. He's still out doing stuff. He just won't eat. But we monitor his weight, and as long as he's not losing weight, it's no big deal. It's just kind of what they do. That
part I can deal with having ball pythons, and
yeah.
Some days they want to eat, and some days they'll look at food like, what is that?
Yeah. I would say, like, not all the colubrids do brumate, but a lot of them have the ability to. So if they do, you just kind of have to be prepared for that. I like the colubrids. There's just a lot of variety with them. They're fun, active snakes in most cases. They're out during the day, which is, different from what a lot of people are used to with ball pythons and a lot of our other more nocturnal snakes that people keep. So having animals that are just out and doing stuff all day long is really cool. So that's another thing I like about having colubrids.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to get a Mexican black king snake, is to have something that's a little more active when I'm awake.
Yeah.
And active myself. And I love frogs. Frogs are cool. I love to have some that were not sleeping all day long.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get some dart frogs.
We have White's tree frogs, and yeah, they sleep all day long, and then they come out and croak at night while we're trying to watch TV or go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on my list too. They're fun. They're fun, dopey little frogs.
Yeah, I honestly, one of my favorite things to keep is toads. Like even just like American toads that you find in your backyard. Like they're just so dopey and funny to watch, and when you feed them, it's really comical. And so they're actually one of my favorite animals to have around. We've gone to actually set up a sanctuary for toads in our backyard just to try to attract them to our house, and
Okay.
then and then offer them snacks when they're around. So
Well, and speaking of snacks, I saw your salad time videos. If that doesn't attract them, I don't know what will, because I'm ready to come over for salad time because those salads look good.
yeah, yeah, our salad eaters eat well for sure. It wasn't that elaborate with the salads when we first started out, but then we just had so many that were doing it. And so it was, when you only have a couple of animals, it's hard to buy that produce and use it
Right.
up fast enough. But when you have a lot of animals, that it doesn't go bad as often.
Yeah, we're buying produce like twice a week. Those guinea pigs can eat, and they will scream for food.
Yeah.
They're always hungry.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm drawn to color, and your salads are very colorful.
Yeah.
Large variety of different.
Yeah,
things.
I like to switch it up and make it interesting for them, because if you keep feeding the same stuff over and over and over again, I find the animals tend to just start to ignore certain things.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're always switching it up and offering different stuff, it keeps them thinking about it and trying new things more consistently.
That's cool. Yeah, that is.
Like they're more likely, if you just keep feeding the same stuff, to ignore the stuff they don't like as much and wait for the stuff that they do. So
That makes sense. That makes sense. And how many guinea pigs do you have?
we have 2.
Just 2. Okay. Yeah, I never had guinea pigs. I used to work in pet store years ago, and
There were
Everything we own, I would say including the puppy. Like, I'm not even kidding. They are marketed like they're such an easy, like, small pet. Like,
uh-huh.
you have to bathe them, you have to clip their toenails, you have to feed them fresh food.
you have to clean their
You have to
cage
clean
like
that
every
cage, like,
day.
all the time. They never stop pooping. They're always pooping. So it's a lot, and the kids will only stay interested for a kid length attention span, and then it's on to the next thing. So they're my guinea pigs now. He's allergic, so
Oh wow! All right, no guinea pigs. That's off the list.
Yeah, I would not.
get a hamster instead if you need to go down that road.
That might be. I don't know. Who knows? Well, I have snakes in too many rooms. No, I can't do a hamster. So, and then you visited the Snake Discovery Escape Room.
Yes. We live fairly close to the Snake Discovery Zoo facility,
Okay.
and it's one of my frequent places for pet supplies, just because they actually have really reasonably priced reptile supplies.
Oh, nice.
So we're fortunate to be close to them.
Yeah, they do used enclosure sales too every couple of months, where people will line up and they can get really reasonably priced larger sized enclosures for a really good deal. They have their adoption island. We've adopted rescues from there. Ed and Emily are part of the Minnesota Herpetological Society as well. They're at meetings, so we really like Snake Discovery.
That's cool. Yeah, we need something like that around here.
Yeah.
I'm in outside of Philadelphia. There's nothing like that around here. So that would be cool.
Yeah,
They
we're
seem
really
like-
lucky to have that.
And how you go over there often?
Yeah, I go over there. So we get our rats and stuff from a local breeder, but when I need mice, I don't have a local breeder for mice for the colubrids that need smaller stuff. So I get them from Snake Discovery, and then like I said, they just have like really reasonably priced hides and cork and stuff like that. And then the zoo, we have a season pass too, just because we're there so much. So we stop into the zoo every time that we're in. But yeah, it's about a 30 to 40 minute drive, so it's not super close, but it's also close enough that it's not super inconvenient to go over there.
That's not bad.
So I'm not
at all.
over there every day, but we do frequent.
That's cool. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Nice season passes for a zoo. Yes, exactly. Have you ever owned a Guinnosaurus Rex? Brian, what's a Guinnosaurus Rex? Is that a thing?
The Guinnosaurus Rex. They're very demanding, so I guess.
Is that a thing? Is that really
You
a
have to
thing?
be pretty careful clanking your coffee mugs in the morning because they'll think you're clanking their salad bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, a South Park reference. Okay. I didn't watch South Park. Thanks, Brian. Capybara. Yeah, we do still. We want a capybara.
They're bigger than I thought. We saw them.
Yes, we saw them at a local safari like zoo thing, and they're much bigger than I ever thought they were.
Yeah, we had a guest on a few weeks ago that has a couple of capybaras, and yeah, they're. I knew they're the largest rodent. I didn't realize how big they
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, that was the same. When I saw them in person, I was just like, wow, I knew they were bigger. I didn't know they were that big though.
Yeah. The baby was kind of like the size I thought
Yeah.
the adults were gonna be, like the infant ones. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so you were really surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like when they go into the Dreadwood Swamp in Princess Bride and see those big rats.
Yes, they get up to about as big as my dogs. So that's a big rodent.
Yeah.
That's a very big rodent. I don't know if I want a rodent that big.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the guinea pigs are as big of a rodent as I can handle. That's enough for me.
But you don't even handle them.
I do.
He does help me trim the nails
Yeah.
because it makes me really nervous. I don't want to hurt
I'm
them.
allergic to a point where it's uncomfortable with the itchiness afterwards, but not like so bad that I can't help with them. So I do help with them, and I feed them every day. Like I'm the one that makes their salads and brings them down. So I contribute.
All right, that's fair. Lots of traffic going on out here today. So, and you did touch on the turtle, the tortoises.
Yeah, we have 3 tortoises, 2 Hermans, and a cherry head.
Okay, and do they stay on the smaller side?
Yes, all of our tortoises stay on the smaller side. The cherry head is a redfoot. Redfoots can get up to 2 feet, but cherry heads are a variety that's generally stays smaller than that. The Herman's tortoises, maybe 14 inches max, somewhere between 12 and 14 inches is going to be their shell length fully grown. So not huge tortoises.
If I got a tortoise that would be about that size. I
Yeah.
want something that's kind of like sulcata-like, but not sulcata-like.
Yeah, not sulcata size. Yeah, there's so much variety in tortoises, and their care requirements are very different depending on what you get. So it's one of those things that you definitely want to know what you're getting and what you're getting into with them. It's one of the things that I'm very passionate about, because so many people care for their tortoises improperly, because everybody assumes that you should just take care of them like a sulcata. And for most tortoises, that's not right. So like our Herman's tortoises, I'm actually about to release a video on what's planted in their enclosure, because we keep them outside for the part of the year that we're able to.
Okay.
And they have a very specific diet that people are not generally aware of. So we're
what-
getting that video ready right now.
What type of diet would that be? Don't spill all the beans so we can watch the video.
They actually can't process sugar, so feeding them fruits and vegetables is pretty much a no-go, and a lot of people don't realize that because it's a tortoise. Give it a carrot.
Right.
It's not good for them. They should actually be eating mostly just leafy greens and weeds, common weeds, dandelions, plantains,
Wow.
violet, stuff that grows and people try to get rid of. So yeah, that's a clover is also another good one.
I never knew that.
And then straw, hay, they can eat that too. But yeah, it's just high fiber leafy greens is all they should be eating.
Good to know. Good to know. And no tikis, no frolicking today. It's raining. I'm not going out to frolic today. We were frolicking a couple of weeks ago in the street, because I won't frolic in my yard because of my dogs, but we'll frolic in the street.
It is bright and sunny here today. I'm excited to get outside today.
Nice. Enjoy that. Yeah, it's not sunny here. Not sunny at all. It's raining, but that's fine, because I just planted some potatoes, so they need some water. So I'll welcome the rain. Well, we are coming up on our hour. I appreciate you both being here today and showing off your animals and your enclosures. Your enclosures it's not always sunny. It's not always sunny. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. But definitely appreciate you showing off the enclosures. That's some very interesting work that you do, and inspiring. Maybe I'll put something into my mental bank. And
yeah, like I said, we have videos up on some of the techniques that we use, and there's going to be more coming, because we're just going into that season where I'm going to be building out a lot of stuff. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Well, let everybody know where they can, Alan, where they can find you, so they can see all of the videos, because you make some great videos. You do some great work. So let them know.
Yeah, so the majority of our stuff is going to be on TikTok at Winter Started This. We do have a YouTube channel. We don't have much posted on there.
He doesn't use it.
Yeah.
He also made a Facebook, which I don't think he's using it. And I do try to share photos on the Instagram. It's the same name, but we get a lot of really pretty photos, or like photos when we're volunteering. So I'll try to show.
Yeah. So TikTok is going to be the main place that you're going to be able to find our content. Instagram to a lesser extent. You can reach out to us on both TikTok and Instagram. Instagram's a little bit better because you can share images and stuff. So if you have questions about an animal, hit us up. We're definitely happy to help people out there. Instagram's probably the better place to reach out to us for that. But most of our content's going to be on TikTok, and we're the same handle on all of them. Winter Started This.
Makes it easy to find you. Well, we thank you again for joining us. We appreciate everything that you do with educating the people of Minnesota and educating us today, because I'm sure a few people learned a few things today. Everybody that's in the chat, we appreciate you for being here as always on both channels, on T Keys' channel and on my channel. Again, if you haven't gone over to my channel yet, just scoot over there before we end and hit that like button. If you're not already blue, leave a comment so I can turn you blue over there. Make sure you tune in next week. We kind of got family joining us next week. Our guest is Rebecca from Halbert Farm, and Rebecca is Matsu's sister-in-law, Aaron, number something. I can't remember what number he is. Tiki's, which number Aaron is he? But it is Matsu's sister-in-law that will be joining us next week. Number 4, Aaron, number 4. So make sure you join us next week for Halbert Farm. And then, as always, stay with us today, 4 p.m. in just about an hour. Fred and AJ will have Sunday Sanctuary. And then at 7 p.m., T Keys, Wiz, and KG will be on with Breeding for the Future. Then tune in tomorrow for No Balls, Just Things at 5:30, and then The Great Outdoors at 7:30. Tuesdays, we have Morph Masters and then Genetic Canvas. Wednesday, Whiskey Wednesday. KG and Jaffe got Show and Sell on Instagram, and then T Keys and Wiz have Balls and Things right back here on the Whiskey Bomb Network. And then Thursday is TBD, To Be Determined, and they got a couple names for that TBD. It's funny. I love it. But definitely tune into TBD. TBD is some funny stuff. And then Friday, the usual suspects are here for Hair Down Fridays. And then Saturday, tune into Elias's Snake Cinema podcast Saturday morning. And then Just Starting to Pip with the kids in the reptile industry. I've been learning a lot from the kids. So definitely make sure you tune into Just Starting to Pip. And the Great Snake Debate. There was a debate last night. So the Great Snake Debate will be on again in another couple of weeks. And then there's Sophisticated Ignorance on Wiz's channel. And then definitely make sure you tune into shows on Herb Collectors Network and Irresistibles Network. We have a lot going on, and I say it every week, you don't need cable. You don't need cable. If you can't find something to watch on any of our networks, then you're missing out. As always, if you're watching the replay, leave a comment, #ReplayGang, put up the Whiskey Bomb as Alan is doing there. Make sure you put that in the comments and join us. We have a lot going on, and there's more shows coming, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you again for joining us today. We certainly appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, thank you again for being here today. Everybody, be yourself. Believe in who you are. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? I love you. Have an awesome week. Peace and be wild. Dan, stick around for a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
Dearly beloved, we are here to talk about this thing called keepers. Keeper means forever, and forever is a mighty long time.